You, my friends, are following in the very footsteps of history. Something beyond the power of words to describe. Human beings simply aren't built to function at the cruising altitude of a 747. Our bodies will be literally dying. Everest is another beast altogether.
Jason, you play Rob Hall in Everest.
Yes.
Tell us, what kind of guy was he?
Rob was a pioneer, who pioneered taking private people that wanted to go up to these places like Everest, and he's the one that did it. Him and Pete Athens started this. Previous to that, it was a government expedition. He was a quiet man, a strong man, a determined man, a very, thorough, methodical man. I had the pleasure of reading his diary from '95, the year before. Guy Cotter gave me the actual diary. I used it in one of the scenes. He was a man that cared about Nepal. He cared about the Sherpas. He cared about the business he was in, and the people that climbed with him.
Sit down, man. Climatize.
How's the weather?
It's good.
I wish I was with you.
One day, you, me, and that little Sarah will all go climbing together.
So today's the day, huh?
One of the most moving scenes in the movie is the shot of Sarah, who's Rob's daughter, 17 years after these events. How closely tied to the production were Jan and Sarah, for example?
They weren't there for a lot of it. It was, Tim Bevan wanted to, he wanted to bring them in. It's their lives. We wanted to be respectful of the people we were portraying. And, these people have never written books or made a living out of it. Jan's still a doctor. She always was a doctor. Guy still leads climbing. But it was important, and they did give us one amazing thing. They gave us a recording of Rob's call from the top of the mountain when, a lot of the recordings of that day, of the actual radio conversations, but it was, for me, was the 20 minutes of Doug's collapsed. I need somebody to come back up with some gas. I can't get him down without it.
There's no oxygen.
You go. I'm done. No, I'm not leaving you behind. Come on.
That really gave me the type of man that Rob was, under pressure. You see what a man's made of under pressure, and when, all else are losing their heads around you, he kept his, and he did his best, to get that man down. So they were very helpful.
This is a very physical movie, obviously.
Yeah.
For you, are you a fit man? You look like a pretty fit man. Did you have to go into a lot of training for this as well, Jason?
Yeah, I did. more out of my... yes, absolutely, to get it right, because I knew I was playing somebody real, and I knew that he was one of the best in the world at what he did, so I had to be able to, know what I was doing. It's 16,000 feet. So altitude can affect you very different. I'm lucky I've been there before. I seem to acclimatise reasonably well without having to take the tablets. It's a different type of fitness. You've really got to just pace yourself slowly to get up that, and just to be able to have it. And then, when you're dragging a man down the Hillary step like I was with Doug Hansen, it doesn't matter how fit you are. It takes it out of you. It really takes it out of you.
When I came out of the movie, why would anyone want to do this? And no disrespect to Rob and the people who passed away on the mountain, but did you ever have that feeling before you made this movie? Why do people climb places like Everest?
Beforehand, I've done some pretty silly things, or some pretty outrageous things, or some pretty, adrenalized things. And I do get it like that, and I've seen Everest, and you see it from a distance, you go, wow, my God. Or the pictures of the views, some of the shots that Guy Cotter would show me of things, and you go, yeah. I had a child recently. That makes you think certain about things, It's funny, I spoke to Jan, because, we talked about that a lot. And I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying this, is that she knew she married a high altitude mountaineer. So it was given, and she climbed herself, and she went to Everest herself. And then she was pregnant, but she was still happy that's what he did. And, when she knows Rob's this, is as careful as anybody. But she did say, as that baby grew inside of me, every day I start to feel a little bit more, I'm not sure, I want to be able to, Rob, play, And I don't think Rob was ready for what happened. Maybe I was lucky enough to be there for my child's birth and see it, and, and it changes how you feel. And there is a randomness in the mountains. Nepal was just flattened. It doesn't matter what you're doing or how good you are, it was just flattened. Doing a Dave Brashears, it went straight past his tent.
Mm-hmm.
The why, though, it doesn't need to be answered in my book. As an actor, when I come to break down a scene, there's questions that need to be asked in anything, you know, and why is a big one. Just ask this. But it changes as you peel back the layers of why we do these things, you know. But we all expect to get home. You know, Beck Weathers, twice he was left for dead. Twice he wanted to get home. Rob, when he desperately wanted to get home and he realised what he was going to lose and what he'd done, I'm sure it would have just been devastating to him. He couldn't get home.
Jason, thanks for talking to us.
It's gonna take all we got.
We're all getting down together. Now let's go.
If anyone can make it, you can.